Okay, we'll get started.
Okay.
Call to order the August 21st meeting of the Landmarks Commission. We'll start with the roll. Susan. Veronica. Justin.
Here.
Ron.
Here.
Ian.
Yeah.
And David. First item on the agenda is the approval for tonight's agenda. My understanding is that we have had a request to move item D4 up first. I'd ask for a motion to do that.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to do that. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Second item on the agenda tonight, I also need then a motion to approve the agenda.
Yes.
A motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The agenda's been approved. Next item, item C, is the approval of the meeting minutes from the July 8th, 2019 meeting of the Landmarks Commission. Minutes were in your packet. Does anybody have any changes, edits, anything of that nature on the previous minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll pause here for a brief second and allow Susan to get logged in. All right,
Okay.
thank you. And just, I don't know if you heard that as you walked in, we've moved item 4 up to the first item on the agenda. So that's where we're at. The item D4, Certificate of Appropriateness 19-31, consideration with possible action on a design review for siding, soffit, and window replacement at 1008 South Webster Avenue. Jason, would you like to give us a staff update on this?
Sure. On the screen at the corner of the room, we see the location of 1008 South Webster Avenue. This picture is a couple of years old at this point, maybe 4 years old. Early 20th century prairie style meets colonial revival. If I could just draw your attention to a couple fun little bits. Not with this, I can't. Bear with me as I'm colorblind, but you do have a few neat little features. I think that's maroon, this frieze board below the cornice kind of unifies all the window casings, and then that is repeated down here, unifying all the window casings and kind of wraps around the house. If you're like me, you'll forget the word frieze board and accidentally start calling it racing stripes. Racing stripe. Also notice at the front door, the corners are mitered. They don't have a corner board, so those clapboards come to a neat little pointy angle. Small stylistic bits. The application for a certificate of appropriateness is to go all vinyl siding and replace 30 or so windows. What you see here is wood clapboard siding and what I suspect are historic windows. So property owner submitted a number of photographs. I think where you see the dark colored board in the bottom 2 photographs, I think that's a first story frieze board detailed racing stripe, if you will. Additional photographs, you see the condition of the paint is deteriorated throughout. And here's a few pictures of soffits below gutters where paint and perhaps a little bit of material deterioration has occurred. Again, the dark board on the left, I think, is the frieze board detail, but we see paint failure and we have the gutters. That's typical throughout. Staff recommends denial of the COA application, replacing wood siding with vinyl, and wholesale replacement of windows is frowned upon by Secretary of the Interior Standards for Rehabilitation, and further explicitly frowned upon by the Wisconsin State Historic Preservation Office, which provides some written guidance on how to address the need to maintain and consider replacement of siding and windows. That is the brief overview.
Anybody have any additional questions for Jason? Property owner and tenants? Make a motion to open the floor for comment?
Motion to,
Second.
or second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Would you like to address the commission at all?
Most of the wood is rotting. In the back section of the house, the wood won't even stay on, the paint won't even stay on. They used pine instead of cedar, and so we have to paint it almost every 2 years. There's one wall that has actual holes in, which has caused deterioration inside the home that I have to now get repaired as well. The wall has cracked, I have molding, and there were even mushrooms growing in there the other last fall. We are on a very tight financial situation. I have explored replacing wood and other siding, and everything is way, way above my budget. I can't even start to put it together. I've been able to put together the amount. Ken and I worked trying to figure out a way we could do this, and he is going to keep the look of the house exactly the same. All the siding will be the same. We're staying with the 4-inch boards because that's what's there now. We're staying with the 6-inch boards for the running boards, and we'll stay exactly the way it is. There's the soffits are almost all rotted. I used to be able to hang plants and stuff, but I can't even put anything in those anymore. We just had, there is water damage in the house from different parts where the soffit has leaked through. And it's just, I have to do something, but I cannot, just painting it's not going to do it this time because there's way too much repair to be done on it. And I've worked with Ken for quite a few weeks, and he assures me that he's going to put extra time in making sure we have this exact same look that we have now.
What are the windows going to look like?
They're going to be just the regular vinyl. We already have some that we, when the addition in the back was put on, they have the regular, the kind of windows. They're not the weighted windows. They're with the storm with the half screens.
The double hungs or casements?
Yes. You mean that? Yeah.
Pull up? Yeah, double hung.
Yeah.
Not a casement where you can crank it?
No.
Okay.
No. In fact, in the back, when it was added on, they do have a bay window with we have 2 crankers, but we're removing those and putting the double hung in it, so it looks like the same on the other side, so they look uniform then.
And with the windows, are you going to have the wood trim around the windows as you have now?
Yes. Yes, that's why when we were talking with Ken, he made sure that the windows framing will have the exact width that it is now, which when we were looking on again, the section that was added on 20 years ago, they did not keep the same width, so we are going to make it the same width again, so it'll match the front, the old part. The pillars will stay as wood. They will not be changed.
How does he propose to handle the mitered corners on the siding?
I do not understand that, so I don't, in my proposal, I said if you had any questions like that, Ken would be able to answer them.
And what type of material is he going to replace the fascias and soffits with?
I had that in the proposal.
Aluminum soffit.
Yeah, aluminum soffit and facials. and then they'll build out and wrap all the windows.
Is he keeping a similar color palette, or is he changing colors?
I wanted to go, this was not the original, we painted this probably, must have been about 20 years ago we went with this color. Before that it was a blue and white, and before that it was just white. And now I want to go with like a sea crest for the main house and cream for all the trim.
What is he gonna do with the soffits?
He's going to wrap them and then put in the aluminum soffits so that the gutters are not connected to the soffits, they're actually connected to the roof. So he's able to tuck it underneath and have it come out so it looks like it is now.
And he didn't talk about replacing the wood and just doing the same wood that you have now for the soffits?
It's too expensive for me. I can't, I've really scraped a lot just to come up with this budget. And at the bottom where the gray area is, again, that's the new addition. The guy who did it didn't do it properly. So we're going to put a running board where there's a running board at the very bottom now, but then extend it a little bit lower so we can get rid of that look there.
Are you talking the yellow over here?
It's green, yeah, on that, yeah, underneath where you see like the gray and the cream.
Yeah, like
What he did was, it's insulation, then he just put this, kind of like, not even cement, it's just like a paste he put on there, who did it originally, and it chips off, you know, and now it's even buckling because of the heat that we've had, and it just peels right off. Any kind of windstorm or stuff, we always have pieces on the concrete from it.
Had you looked into applying for historic tax credits for this work?
I have somewhat, but not a lot, because I didn't quite get it all, understand it all, but it wasn't enough to right at this point to help me through this. I mean, if I don't do anything, because I can't afford to do it within the wood. That was just way too much, and then I went back to square one where it's just deteriorating on me again.
Is this property eligible for the revolving loan fund?
It
That's
is
what
for
I was
ours,
thinking
and then
too.
also our department also has home loan funds that are income eligible, so.
But see, loans are very difficult for me to get because I'm self-employed and I don't have a steady income.
Ours are not based on that like a bank's would be. So the ones that we
Okay.
have are just the one for historic properties. Anyone is eligible for them as long as you live in a historic property. And the home ones, they do more work with trying to figure out how your income fluctuates versus just the bank looks at the bank statement.
Right.
So we do have some programs available if you want to talk about.
But then
that.
I'm still stuck with the whole loan thing again. And it's very difficult for me to deal with.
How many carpentry estimates did you get?
I had one who looked at it, and when they heard that I had to go in front of the commission, they didn't really ever send me an estimate. I had another one who came and already was telling me what he could do to cheapen it, what he wouldn't put on. And I said, no, I want it to be exactly the way it is. He didn't want to put those running boards on and things like that, just to go straight down. And I said, no, I wanted to keep that look. And so his bid was lower, but it was not, I didn't want it because he wasn't going to do what I wanted done. Because I really want the look to stay there, because that's why we bought the home originally 35 years ago. And so I love having the trim. I love having the windows, with the wider wood window trim on it. I like the running boards, I like all that. But even that one shot where you guys thought it was a running board, it's actually, keep going, this one on the left, that's completely off, it just fell off. If you look at the bottom of the one on the right, I have replaced boards just so that I could get to it, and right next to the silver box is an actual hole. I can stick my hand inside and touch the inside wall of the house. And that's where all the damage is in the house now. And Ken said he would be able to do the inside wall at the same time as doing the outside wall.
I mean, it appears, I mean, from my own personal work I've done, it just seems like a lot of the wood would have to be replaced just so that they could even do a vinyl job. I mean, it's just
That's why I
a huge majority.
can't go, that's why I wanted to go to vinyl, because he'll just wrap it all then. Whereas if I went to replace all the wood, it'd be 2 to 3 times what it is now, and I can't do that. I can't even try to do that. There's not even, I mean, I'm just really, really stretching it to be able to cover this. But yeah, the wood is very rotten, and it has really deteriorated rapidly this last 2 years.
Any other questions? Motion to close the floor.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any further discussion?
I think the window project is okay, those don't look like really original.
Do we know if the windows are original or no?
They don't look like it,
Honestly don't, I think there's storm windows over top of,
yeah.
Yes,
but if they're weighted sash cord windows, then
Right.
They are older, they're
they're
definitely
in the
older.
historic era for the house. So.
One comment I guess I would make is that this issue of the soffits is the same issue this commission addressed
Yep.
last month,
I see.
and we denied it then.
Yeah.
And so I can't in good conscience reverse what we told the property owner last month.
The guidelines that we have, the same guidelines last month as they
Yeah.
have this one.
Yeah.
And change.
Can we break this down into 3 projects? The soffit, the windows, and the siding?
You can do your approvals based off of those 3 things. That's kind of how the staff report was written, how we gave a recommendation, so if you want to do it that way, that'd be fine. We'll just have to do one vote at the end.
I would, okay, so based on that, I would comment on the window replacement. I don't feel I understand exactly what is intended based on the information we've been provided. It says wrapping the windows, and I assume that's the hard trim, but I would like to see something from the window installer as to exactly how they're going about that and what product they're actually going to put in for the windows.
Yeah.
So I feel
Wrapping the
that,
trim, yeah,
I'm
they-
not necessarily saying I'm opposed to it, but I think the submittal is incomplete.
They give the Series 4000 window, but we don't know what it looks like. That's why I asked what kind of window, if it was a double hung
it is a double hung where we were
versus a
gonna,
casement.
and then there's already, well, it would be the same as, I don't know if they show up in the back version, but the back of the house had double hung ones put in. And there's one window, but I don't think you'll see it on here, that has been replaced because it just fell out of the frame. But they're just, they're not the crank windows. They just have it, you can pull up and put down.
Double hung.
Double
So we're gonna do
hung.
double hungs.
Yep,
And then they're gonna wrap the trim,
So it looks like it does now.
and it's gonna be the same.
So the
different
trim on
color.
the windows will be the same as the running boards, just like it is now, except the color will be a cream, and the cream now will be a Seacrest color.
Do we want to address the Soffit as the first item and discuss the merits of that, or put it up for vote?
Well, I don't,
Siding and then windows? I think without the window, additional window information, is hard to make a recommendation either way on this thing. It identifies the series, but I don't know if that has a 1-inch frame or a 6-inch frame, or is it gonna completely change the?
Yeah, we don't know what it
We don't
looks
know.
like.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's
told
all.
him I wanted to keep the same, so that's what he put in, the order he has it, so it'll be the same as what's there now.
Sure, but we don't have that information
Okay.
now. As far as the soffits, again, I think, you know, that, to me, that's a non-starter. And the siding, if we are held to the Department of the Interior standards as a guideline for our recommendations, and this would be counted to that guideline.
The ordinance states that you must give consideration to those
Mhm.
Secretary of Interior standards.
Yeah, we're not bound by them,
You're not.
but we are bound by the certified local government status and their review.
You know, if you go a little askew there, questions may be asked. If you want to stick to the procedure, so to speak, if you deny this, the homeowner can appeal it to council,
Absolutely.
and the council can do whatever they want.
Yep.
Now, I can't speak on the council's behalf, but my hunch is that most councils are going to be relatively sympathetic. And in that case, you know, you as a CLG landmark commission are seen to be doing your job,
Right.
and the council is free range to do as they please. So that has no impact then on your CLG students. Alternatively, you might want to ask for additional information. I know that this application came in after the deadline for the original August meeting, so we kind of accelerated it to get it on the special meeting. But ordinarily, it wouldn't have come up until the September meeting.
Okay. I guess I'm open to having additional information submitted. I'm not sure it's going to change my thought on where we're at with this one.
What the windows look like, and then also how he's gonna handle the corner of the
Right.
siding.
if we're asking for that additional information, do we have to deny the application tonight, or can we just ask the submitter to?
We would table it to the next available meeting.
Table it.
Okay.
So we can table the whole list. I doubt that they're going to do one piece and not the other. But if there's anything you're like, yeah, absolutely, we're gonna approve that anyway, you can do it in 2 pieces. But it's just a lot cleaner if it's all done in one.
The other thing that tabling it would do would allow the homeowner to discuss with the city any potential additional funding opportunities.
Well, so I have no problem tabling this. I think it's the appropriate thing to allow the homeowner the opportunity to do that, pursue those opportunities for funding sources, and then also allow the contractors to provide us with more information as to their exact intentions.
Yeah.
But I have the issue with the Soffit material, which, quite honestly, yeah, I'm not waiting until September to deny that portion of the work, is my opinion. So I don't know if that's something we need to,
Well, we could also just present that information to the contractor to say they will deny this at the September meeting, so if you want to come up with alternatives during the meantime, so that way the whole package still goes together.
And
That is
then
an option.
Can the contractor be at the September meeting too?
Well, he wanted to be at this one, but he was out of town working. He couldn't get back in time. And it's real difficult. Okay, never mind.
So I would make a motion that we table this till September and ask the homeowner to bring back the additional information we're looking for.
Like a picture of the
I'll second.
windows, what a window's gonna go in.
I'll second that.
Any additional discussion?
Am I going to be given a list so I know what I'm telling my contractor?
Yeah, I'll follow up with you with all the details on that.
Okay.
I can follow up with Ken as well.
And he's willing to talk to you guys too, he said, so his number was in the proposal.
So
We're voting to table it.
so we're voting to table it. A yes vote would
Yes.
table it.
Oh, yes,
till
folks,
September.
I see.
All right, that has been tabled. I'll follow up with you then, Mary.
Okay. Next item on the agenda would be item D2, item D1. Certificate of Appropriateness 19-28, consideration with possible action on a design review for new siding, windows, and porch addition located at 1007 to 1011 South Van Buren Street. Jason?
Here's the map.
Thank you for making that.
1007 to 1011 South Van Buren Street is kind of a funny house, so to speak. It was built around 1925, but prior to the 1930s, it was effectively turned into a 3-unit house. So it has historic remodeling, so to speak. This is a picture of that house. It's a craftsman-style house. The large picture window in front marks the location of an enclosed front porch, which became somebody's real estate office. Very nice. The request, last I heard, involves maintaining and repainting the existing wood siding. Most of the windows stay, but they add new storm windows. The stairwell, there's an exterior enclosed stairwell at the rear of the house which will be removed. That was part of the apartmentalization of the house. Request includes replacing the garage doors and a new front door in lieu of that picture window and a construction of a deck off that enclosed front porch. This slide shows a general outline of the house towards the left with some lines at the bottom there indicating where the new steps and proposed deck would be. Top right of center is a view of that proposed front door. The colorful part is the proposed deck on the front of the house. And I think it involves a new driveway or something like that on the right. So this is a multi-phased recommendation. Staff recommends approval of the proposed garage door, approval of removal of the exterior stairwell, recognizing that both are not visible from public right-of-way and neither have a significant impact on the historic integrity of the house. Skipping to the bottom one there, recommend approval of the selected front door, noting that it neither harms nor improves the historic character of the house. Staff has some hesitation with the front deck. And perhaps I could go through a little picture show here. At the top left is the house in question. All the other pictures represent the same house style where the porch has not been enclosed, which is nice. I want you to draw your attention though to where the stairs are relative to the porch deck. The stairs lead directly up to the porch. Moving on, some sympathetic examples where alterations have been made. Again, our house at the top left. A very similar house, top center, where the porch has been enclosed. The steps lead directly to that porch door. And also very tastefully concealed is a side deck addition behind that vine thing, where that's an open deck with railing. The other two below are historic examples. They have the same general form as this house, but they have what to them would have been an original covered porch extending off to the side. If you look at our house in question, it would be to the left of that. You'd have this covered porch. Again, in all examples, the stairs lead directly to the porch. And you might ask, what, do we have in Astor that is comparable? Again, our house at the top left. All of these others are of a similar style in Astor. The two in the top have enclosed porches, so they filled in those open areas with windows. Again, the steps lead directly to the porch door. On the bottom, the blue one at the right, I think it's blue, again, enclosed porch, front door out to steps. The bottom center is an open porch. It has a big addition off to the left though, which is why the roof line has an angle in it. I've got two other examples in Astor of craftsman style, neither of which are of this form. Some interesting note, my favorite there, the Japanese-inspired one at the top. It has a historic deck extending off to the side near the driveway. As best I can tell, that's original. The one on the bottom, totally different form, open porch, but in both cases, again, the stairs lead directly to the porch. And this is why I have hesitation about building a deck that extends beyond the porch, which would have railing and perhaps create a caged appearance on the front of the house, recognizing that there are no other examples of a front deck in Astor that quite jive with what's being proposed. So with that in mind, staff recommends denial of the proposed front deck addition as currently proposed.
Is the new front doors intended to go where the original or the existing window is? Is that what's being
Yes.
proposed?
So here, I'm on shaky ground in its entirety because the city has a priority to convert multifamily homes back to single-family homes. This is a long goal. This house is unique in that it was converted into a multi-unit in the historic era back in the late 1920s. It's not really practical to maintain that multi-unit form. So now we get off into conjectural ideas of how to best maintain the character while creating something that was never historically accurate in the first place. As I understand it, the property owner doesn't want to open up that front porch again. I guess I'm back with I, frankly. I mean, the interior of that is not suited to being open to the environment at this point. So now I'm in that unhappy position of being a style policeman where I don't really have hard and fast rules. So I'm trying to look at the district as a whole and try to maintain sympathetic to the historic integrity and character of the district, which is why I introduced photos of other areas in Astor.
I think it's also important to note that on this one here, they didn't have it on the schematic where it says level 1, stair 1, but on the right, they show that level 1 area would extend to the existing doorway that's on the right of the house. So it would not only be a deck in the front, it would wrap around to the existing doorway that would remain. So there'd be two front doors with the deck in front of both of them.
But yeah, that proposed door with side lights would take the position of the picture window on the front of the enclosed porch.
I thought there was something that they're gonna cover up that old opening with that door that front door that's there now.
So with the exterior stairwell, I think they're looking to use materials to fill in that opening, as you wouldn't need a door to the outside of the second story to step out into nothingness. Again, all of that's invisible from the right-of-way, so I see no trouble with that.
Yeah.
And my point in these pictures is, since we're getting into the conjectural recognizing that we'll be altering something, these bottom examples show perhaps a path forward, a form that would allow the property owner to maintain the character and yet have an identifiable exterior change that's distinguishable from the historic bits. But I don't know that anybody wants to go that route. I was just looking at comparable forms.
I'm going to abstain from the vote on this one because this is immediately adjacent to my own home. I'm glad to see that the home has changed ownership and that there's work being done on the property. I'm delighted by that. I agree with the general recommendations of staff on this. That is a very unusual approach to the front of the house in this district without historical precedent.
Is the homeowner present? Okay.
Do we know why they want to build this deck on the front?
We've met with them a few times, but we didn't really get a sense of direction for why the deck versus.
Yeah, a 7 by 12 deck.
versus the walkway.
So I will make this simple. I believe that items 3, replacing the garage door, 4, removing the exterior stairwell, 5, painting the exterior, and 6, replacing the storm windows, I would vote for approval on. And I would vote we deny items 1 and 2. Item 1, the addition of the deck, is not with any sympathy towards the historic architecture of the district whatsoever. And through the photos that have been provided, it's clear that you can certainly do an interpretation of that, especially if we go to the last group of photos and you see the one on the top right. If you look at our home in question, on either side of the porch, you've got the column detail and then the supporting siding that's underneath those. The homeowner could clearly replicate a deck solution using the existing detailing on the house with a little bit of thought. Secondly, the use of the treated lumber material that they're proposing has no precedent whatsoever in a historic house in the Astor District. And then the last thing is that the door and side light that they're proposing is of course not sympathetic to the architecture of the home. And with a little bit more research at any big box retailer, they could find a Mission or Craftsman style door that would be sympathetic to the bungalow or Craftsman style home that this is. So I would make a motion that we approve items 3, 4, 5, and 6 and deny items 1 and 2.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? And I think we're ready for a vote.
That is approved, 1 abstention.
All right, item number D2, Certificate of Appropriateness 19-29, consideration with possible action on a design review for window and door replacements located at 241 North Broadway. Jason?
Here's the map. I think that's the Platinum Place building.
Yes.
Yes.
Advanced Aquarium.
Yes. Yes, still think it was advanced aquarium.
Yeah, the paint line's starting to show. Read it again. The COA application requests replacement of storefront doors and windows. Property owner has already secured approval of the Wisconsin State Historic Preservation Office's senior architect and has already lined up to use tax credits for this program. Based on that, I recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Oh,
Sorry, you guys are running faster than me today.
It's kind of a slam dunk.
That passes.
okay. Last item on the agenda is item D anyways. Item D3, Certificate of Appropriateness 19-30, consideration with possible action on a design review for a new sign located at 304 North Adams Street.
304 North Adams is the Hotel Northland. Here you see on the map. The request is to add a late 1940s style Art Deco sign to be mounted above one of these reproduction 1925 era canopies. We have a lot of drawings of this. That's great. The National Park Service and the Wisconsin State Historic Preservation Office's senior architect have already weighed in on this and have agreed that this will not impact the National Register listing or eligibility for the building. I couldn't tell you if they're getting tax credits for it, though. If you wanted to oppose this, then I would say it would be on the grounds that that particular sign, that particular canopy never existed together historically, And that sign was actually located on the other facade than what is being proposed, but this is nitpicky stuff, as the National Park Service and State Historic Preservation Office have already weighed in on this, so Landmark staff recommends approval.
Is there anybody representing one to the north end?
Nick Lyson, Jones sign.
Okay. Do we want to open up the floor for comment?
I'll motion for it. Motion to open up the floor. We don't know if we need to.
Do we need to?
No, we don't need to.
Probably.
I thought maybe you wanted to, that's all. No, we don't need to.
Well, I'll just throw it out there. I think the sign is a great reproduction of what was on the building at one point in time. And even though it might not be exactly in the same time frame as what the canopies were, I think it'll be a nice addition to the facade, and so I would recommend a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? Ready for a vote?
All set? Thank you.
That was approved.
Okay, on to item E, informational, staff level certificate of appropriateness applications.
Top left, 1120 South Quincy, a new driveway. Top right, 840 South Madison, a fence. Bottom left, 838 South Jackson, who has been to the commission before, is replacing the porch columns with new wood porch columns that, if you don't have a machinist gauge or micrometer, you wouldn't tell the difference. So we issued a staff level approval of that. Then the mural on 128 North Broadway. The ordinance reads that staff can approve painting of brick. Staff generally would never approve painting of unpainted brick. However, this brick happens to have been a shared wall with a building or a portion of that building that is no longer present. So it was never visible anyway. Staff lacks the expertise to comment intelligently as to whether or not the paint selected will be permeable to allow moisture to pass through one side to the other side. Don't know. It's a bit of a science experiment. We approved it.
Do you feel that that mural is compromising the owner's tax credit status?
It only will take 5 minutes, and honestly, we don't have a story without anyone here.
I don't know. I know that they've got 60 months in which any of the other works of the building.
You're right. I was real quick to ask Mark Beagle about that on the Platten Place building, or Hotel Northland even. You know, if it does, I suppose the onus there is on the owner.
It's on the owner. I just was curious.
They asked us, our ordinance is clear that we can approve this. I didn't have a good enough reason not to approve it.
It's fine. I saw it. I know the history of the building and their tax credits, and I immediately thought that, ooh, not sure about that. But I also know what the cause was behind it, and being a community-minded individual was supportive of what they're doing. So I'm just, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just was worrying on behalf of the owners that, but if Beagle's seen it,
Well,
We usually leave it up to the property owner to do their due diligence with
Yeah.
their own tax credits.
Yeah.
We interfere if we have questions, but,
I would agree.
yeah.
these minutes will go to the state historical office if they have issue with any.
Excuse me, what was your comment again on 838 South Jackson?
So the existing round porch columns are wood, and on more than one, the bottom has been chopped off and wedged with a pair of 4x4s at some point.
Okay.
And on one of them, there's a fist-sized hole in the bottom where it's just clear rotted through.
Right.
So they need to be replaced. We had a lot of back and forth with the property owner, and the property owner finally proposed a brand-new wood column that is visually identical. I mean, within a quarter of an inch here and there type identical. So with that in mind, recognizing that the material needed to be replaced, because I don't necessarily trust pouring epoxy in, and even if you did, the bases of several have been cut off anyway, so I figured it was a good rehabilitation. Now that's the one around the other side, where upstairs they had swapped out a window that altered the symmetry of the windows up top.
Right.
Last I checked, they still hadn't gone over that sheet metal that's covering the hole, but
And where's 840 Madison putting the fence?
backyard, back corner of the yard, so it's behind the house, along the property line. They have a kind of a party backyard area. I don't know if there's a pool there or
Or
what.
the pool?
I think they have a pool.
So it's kind of a privacy fence from the corner out towards, not Madison, but the intersecting street there that runs perpendicular.
Cool.
Great. Any other comments on that? On to raise and repair orders and demolitions.
2, 907 Wilson, take no issue with. 715 Winford, officially I take no issue with. However, I have a gut feeling that somewhere in that area is a potential National Register Historic District for post-war type houses. 715 Winford was built in 1942. It was a one-owner house for a long time. There's pictures of the family with the kids growing up there. It's a neat house. I don't think it's individually eligible, but as part of the district it might be, but I don't have anything to justifiably state that there is a district in waiting right there at this time.
What's the issue with the property?
I forget now.
I don't know, it should be in the raise repair. I think it was all internal stuff.
Okay.
So are they raising or repairing?
We never know.
Oh, I see, okay.
It looks like floor, subfloor, walls.
I'm just,
Can you
It's
issue
cluttered,
just a
same size.
raise order or just a repair order? I mean, is it always?
I've seen raise repair and I've seen raise.
Oh,
Where raise comes along if the repair costs are anticipated to be in excess of some percent value of the fair market value of the property, and I don't know what that is, 25 or 50% or something, but if it's too big of a money pit, according to the city, then they don't want you to fix it.
sure.
It's a cute house. But the loss of that house may not put an end to a district there. I don't know that a district can be there yet. Once we do an intensive survey report, I know some chance that it'll be fixed up. The raise repair order kind of reads to me like code for a hoarder's house. So,
Mm.
It's too bad, it's a nice property. Or at least it appears so. Okay, staff updates?
Last month, we did our first revolving loan through the city, and just today, we did our second one. So we are aiming for 2 per year at minimum, so we just have met that goal today, which is great. But there's been a lot of talk from other property owners who are interested. We haven't received any applications yet, but I think we'll just stick to the 2 per year unless something comes around that we really think that is justified for spending the extra money. But right now, we've met our goal for the year, so that's pretty good considering it's August.
and prior to these 2, we had done one for the church,
It's my temple.
Divine Temple. And there's nothing that says we can't do more than 2 per year because we have money in the bank ready to go. But if you do a lot up front, then there's a period of time when you have to wait for money to come back in before doing another one. So,
And both of the ones this summer were also receiving tax credits, so, which is what we wanted the programs to do. So it's increasing the amount of tax credits that are being applied for in the city, which is great.
were you able to reach that one couple that I forwarded to you, by any chance?
I left them a voicemail yesterday,
okay.
so
Okay.
we'll see.
Okay, anything else?
I don't think so.
I won an award.
Oh, yeah, I
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
about that. God, my memory's so small these days.
Outstanding alumnus for Goucher College in Historic Preservation.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Thanks. That was fun.
Okay, anybody have anything else? Next meeting's Monday, September 9th. I assume we'll be back in 3rd floor.
Yes.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.